Today I am here to test the virus up against the Mongoose. Virus has been in my bag for a little bit now, like a season and a half, but I'm not 100% happy with it in the position of I want it to turn. It says 9.5, negative 3.51, so it should be a pretty flippy disc, but I just haven't been able to get this disc to do that consistently. I can get it to flip sometimes, not always. So I'm gonna try out the Mongoose by Legacy Discs and see which one I like better. I'm at task, we're gonna do a nine-hole competition. Virus, Mongoose. I'll be putting with my normal putters for these discs and see how they do. Well, there's some turn today. Wind really helps. First throw with the Mongoose. Okay, I released him on a little bit of hyzer, comparatively, and a little bit nose up. Well, that went pretty good. Not the best range and position for a virus, but that will work out real nicely. I love that. That was perfect. Mongoose is in a little bit of a bad position for the backhand, but carries up there. Dang it, virus, Mongoose. I know that it's hard to really pick out what's consistent for a disc when you're working on your form and whatnot. And I have been working on my form, but I just find with MVP, if you don't quite get the right amount of speed on it, it's more overstable. And then also you get the right speed and just flips any in-between stage and is immediately back to where it's supposed to be with, for this, how flippy it's supposed to be. So I'm hoping that with the Mongoose, it'll just buffer my inconsistency a little bit. Hole 2 here, this should be a perfect example for what these should be because we have a bit of a right to left crosswind. So on the backhand, a little bit of turn should be somewhat offset by that crosswind. Starting with the Mongoose. Technically OB, but I'm not going to play by the OB rules right now. Virus. So there we see both flipped up to flat. The Mongoose just was able to push just a little bit more than the virus did. Wind is just a little bit swirly. See, and that one had no real flip. It was a little bit of a grip lock. It should have turned and been way over the road, but just went straight. And like I said, normally path is OB, but that wouldn't make it a great review. So I'm not gonna worry about OB. I'm just gonna try and show how the disc flies. Oh no. Well, that's showing how the disc flies. Grip lock that one too, but it did flip. All right, hole 3, it's a weird one. It's 300 and something feet. I always think it's shorter. I always think, oh, this is very reachable. And it's just kind of pushing the edge of what I can throw. Now, the issue I have right now is that it's a left to right tailwind. So it should make the discs more overstable. However, once you get past these trees here, that should counteract that and there should be no wind anymore. So let's see how good I can do this. No real flip up. And it hyzered out a little bit. Let's try the virus. Now, one thing about this virus is this virus has been, like I said, beat in for a year and a half. Okay, again, no real flip up. Threw it way wider, which is way nicer, and I am pin high, just about 35 feet right. Just outside the circle. That wasn't good. Okay, that's 2 for 2 where my normal staggered stance putt has failed, and then the straddle putt, which I've been struggling with, has gone in. What is going on today? We're even. Hole 4, it's something like 270 feet. It shouldn't be a problem. Now for these discs, because they want to turn, this is kind of the wrong hole to test them on, but I'm gonna try the intentional hyzer flip a little bit. Flipped up, but not enough. Flipped up, but not enough. The Mongoose. Again, flipped up, but not enough, but that was just a little bit better. And that kick out was A grade. Missed. One hole spent behind, and the Mongoose is back to front of the box. This is a par 4. It's 410 feet. It's not super long. Once again, I'm not really getting a lot of turn off of that disc. Virus, where that turned, that was really low. And it was down, so that's different, but see, there's the turn that I want. But it hasn't really been there half the day. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. A little bit of a headwind now. There's just a little bit of turn, not a lot. Okay. Showed that one a little bit to the wind, the underside to the wind, and it did not flip up. All right, the Virus did go farther than the Mongoose, but the Mongoose might actually still be closer to the hole. Oh, that was not the greatest. Oh, that's even worse. Wait, I have to putt these. This Mongoose is burying the Virus, but the Virus is kind of doing what I want more than the Mongoose. It's a weird little juxtaposition there. I think it's kind of hard because this isn't really a course where I would pull out a flippy driver. All right, hole 7, there's 2 gaps. There's a left gap that's straight and then you go right, and there's a right gap where you kind of have to hook around a little bit and then it's straight. I'm gonna try and aim towards the left gap with the goal of the disc turning and stopping in front of the right gap. That's, in a perfect world, that's what will happen. Mongoose. That's higher. That's a turn I want. That's what I want from that disc to do. Virus. There, a little bit more height. Not as hard of a turn, but then more carry. Kind of the best I can hope for from here with that disc. The Virus managed to get into the perfect landing zone. It was a little long, but it was almost in. Oh, come on, that's right there. once again, this is not a good hole to try a flippy driver. Unfortunately, this course doesn't really have left to right holes for the most part. So gonna do my best with this, see how this disc flies. Gonna try it with, again, a hyzer flip. It doesn't flip up there. And I'm a little bit in the weeds. Virus. Oh, I flipped up a little bit, but I put a way more hyzer. Same spot. That's all it gets. Hole 9. This is the hole that I would be pulling out a flippy disc for the drive, especially from this alternate tee pad. The basket is off to the right, camera left. So this is where you want a left to right turn. Gonna try the Mongoose. Turned, but a little late with that release, so it didn't, I want it to be earlier. Let's try the Virus. Oh, that's the same release, but more turn. Oh, get lucky. I got lucky. Oh, Jared, just get some spin on there. It's a good way to end this video. So, in the end, Mongoose definitely outscored the Virus. And the Mongoose was more consistent than the Virus, in that the Mongoose was never quite as overstable as the Virus when not given enough beans. However, the Virus flipped a lot harder than the Mongoose did. That could partially be because I've been beating this thing in and it's finally gotten to a spot where it is flipping on me the way I want it to. And I've had some really good throws recently, you know, at the P15 tournament on hole 3. Both times my second shot was with a Virus. I'd gone a little bit wide to the right in the weeds with the Virus, snapped this towards the fairway and let it turn down the fairway. So which disc is gonna be in the bag? I think right now the Virus is to stay in the bag. It's giving me that extra turn that I'm looking for. The Mongoose was nice in that it was less varied in where it was going, but just not quite as flippy as I'm looking for it to be right now. I think I might have both for a little bit, try them out some more, try and beat the Mongoose in a little bit, and we'll see. But thanks for watching.